One thing that keeps coming up as I go through my own healing journey is just how stunted the rest of the world is to their emotions. And I don't think there's really a nice way to put this, but the majority of the world is emotionally stupid, right? They're stunted because nobody has taught them how to properly handle and process and feel their emotions. And it's the reason why there's so much conflict in the world. It's the reason why there's so much pain and suffering, is because no one has started, well, some people have, but most people have not figured out, again, how to handle their emotions and deal with them. What I've noticed is that the difference between emotionally mature people and emotionally immature people there are four kind of like key points. And this is not an exhaustive list. These are just four observations that I've noticed within myself and other people. And the first one is learning and understanding how to feel and express the entire spectrum of human emotions, right? It's unfortunate that a lot of emotions in society are repressed because they're labeled as bad, right? Because they're labeled as negative. This is especially true for those uh, emotions that are linked to anger, linked to sadness, right? Such as rage, anger itself, sadness, grief, right? How many times have you been told, oh, don't be angry, right? You can't express anger, or you can't be sad, or don't cry, right? Or it's not okay to be sad, or it's not okay to be really, really angry. And this is the wrong message, right? This is a wrong message for a lot of people. Whereas what really needs to happen is those expressions of anger, of grief, of sadness, of rage need to come out in a healthy way, right? Not directed at somebody, but being able to be expressed in a safe environment. And until people are able to do that, it's essentially like those energy sources are blocked for them, right? They're not able to tap into those reserves of energy, because essentially what emotion is at the end of the day is energy in motion, right? They're essentially energy patterns that are stuck and trapped inside our body, whether it's due to trauma, whether it's due to past events, or because nobody has ever taught people how to express that, right? Release that, be able to let it go. So that's really the first step, is understanding what are the emotions that you're not allowing yourself to feel, and then starting to find ways, educating yourself around how to express them in a healthy way. The second observation that I've noticed in emotionally mature and emotionally intelligent people is their ability to express vulnerability, right? Is their ability to open up about the difficult things, the tough conversations that nobody likes to have, and be okay with essentially being vulnerable. And this is really, really difficult for, um, I would say, a lot of men specifically, because they're not in touch with those sides of themselves. They're not in touch with the ability to feel vulnerable, because it's scary, right? It's scary to put yourself out there and express how you truly feel, and talk about things that might make you really, really upset, might make you cry. And uh, but this is a part of being human, right? This is a part of being human, is being able to go fully deep into those dark, scary emotions and bring them out to the light. For my own personal experience, the lack of vulnerability actually comes from a place of fear, right? Because again, it is scary to be vulnerable. It's actually quite painful in most cases to be that level of vulnerable. And I'm not saying, to share all your feelings to the world, but to find, people, right? Find family, friends, the therapist that you can truly trust and you can confide in, being able to share those emotions that you might have kept bottled up. And I think it's a great irony that vulnerable people are seen as weak, because you actually need a great strength and great courage in order to be vulnerable. It's actually one of the greatest shows of strength that a man and really anybody can do, is to be completely vulnerable. The third observation I've made in emotionally mature people is the ability to identify and catch your own shadow projections, right? And then essentially withdraw them from the other person. And essentially, what projection is essentially taking those feelings that you do not feel comfortable leaving inside of yourself and essentially putting them onto somebody else, right? So um, I would just give you a simple example. Let's say that you are upset, right? Somebody cut you off in traffic. You are really, really angry. You're pissed off. And then the next person you interact with, uh, you project that onto them, right? You either get really angry at them or you interact with them and for whatever reason they ticked you off and you think that they are actually the angry person, whereas you yourself are the angry person, right? So it's catching and understanding that, essentially becoming responsible for your own projections and for your own feelings and not putting the responsibility and not putting the blame onto somebody else. This is a really cool benefit that comes out of being able to cultivate this practice is you're actually better able to identify when other people are projecting on you and on people around them. And then you're able to not take things so personally because you understand and recognize that that's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection on you. The fourth and last observation that I want to make about this is emotionally intelligent people are able to use discernment over judgment. And basically, the definition of discernment, at least in my books, is being able to judge, but in a good way, right? Being able to judge effectively, because we all know a judgmental person. Sometimes we ourselves are that judgmental person. And discernment, the difference between judgment and discernment is being able to um, kind of observe other people, but not judge them for it, right? Maybe there's something that you really, really don't like about, your friend or somebody, and you're judging them, right? You're judging them hard about one particular characteristic in, what they are, who they are, what they do. The next level to that is discerning, is recognizing like, oh, okay, I don't really like that about this person, right? But being able to hold the space and not judging them, right? Not, looking down on them, but recognizing that they are this way because of the patterns of their life, because of their life, circumstances. And if you were exactly in their shoes, right, and you lived every single second of their life, you would also probably be the same exact way. So it's almost like taking the judgment out of judging. So it's almost like just being a more aware, a more observant person in interactions and in social situations, and letting and taking the negative energy out of judgment, right? You'll still judge them, right? But it won't be coming from a place of shadow. It won't be coming from a place of um, looking down on that person. What you judge in another person is unconsciously the thing that you actually don't like about yourself. So this is actually a really, really great way to recognize those shadow aspects of your personality that you've disowned, right? That you've projected and that you've judged onto somebody else, and starts to ask, what part of me does this represent, and what part of myself do I see in this person that I am judging, and can I allow myself to sit with that and eventually be able to take those judgments back and judge less. I only started to notice these four signs in myself when I started to take my own emotional growth journey more seriously. So, in the comments below, I'd love to hear how many of these points can you see in yourself, which are the ones that you feel you need to maybe work on a little bit more, and I'll talk to you soon.